If you're watching this video, your adult child has probably made you feel invisible, unheard, or maybe even completely dismissed. And maybe you get the eye rolls, maybe when you speak, maybe they're interrupting you constantly for those of you that are in contact, or maybe you just feel like your feelings don't matter. And so I want you to know something, that this is not about you being too sensitive. This is about them showing you no respect. And today I want to change that for you. I have 4 points for you, so let's dive right in. Number 1 is start noticing the subtleness. You know, there are subtle put downs that people do. And I think once I name a few of these, you're probably going to realize that, oh yeah, I have noticed that, or I did notice that in the past. And it's not always this loud or dramatic yelling or arguing. Sometimes it's the sigh, the sarcasm, the way they scroll their phone or their eyes. And when you're trying to speak and they're not paying attention. When someone tells you that you're too emotional or you're always making things about you. Now, granted, there might be some truth in that. Are you making things about you all the time? Maybe you're not. Those are some things that you need to consider for yourself. But what happens here typically is when you feel yourself almost shrinking, that's not you being overly sensitive. That is you picking up on this pattern of dismissal. And so when I say that, I want you to think about internalizing, rather than internalizing that shame of, oh, I'm shrinking down, or I'm too emotional, or I'm making things about me. I want you to start identifying what's really happening. And so maybe it is just like, hey, I feel like my concerns are just being brushed off. And we have to remember, this is also how we say things. It's not just the words. We always talk about our kids and how they're rude or disrespectful. We have to make sure that we are speaking respectful to them as well. No matter what we have to say, it can be said in love. Even when you're expressing boundaries, or even if you're expressing some things that you're really struggling with. Like, when you interrupt me like that, it really shuts me down, or it hurts my feelings. So you don't have to yell, you don't have to argue, but you have to name it. You have to tell them what you're feeling. And you start by doing that to yourself first, right? Number 2 is, this is something that moms do all the time, is stop explaining yourself over and over. So many moms tell me, I just want to be understood by them. But really, in hopes of that, you start over explaining and you start telling them your side of things again and again. And maybe you try to change your tone. Maybe you're even getting to the point where you're scripting your word because you don't want them to twist anything on you, because you've had that happen a million times. You don't have to do all that. You are allowed to say, listen, I've explained how I feel about this, and I don't need to keep repeating myself. I love you, right? That's not being rude. It's healthy. Every time you try to convince someone who is not open to listening, if that's the case, you're handing over a piece of your own peace, literally. And so it's just, you get in this cycle, and, you can love your child, but you don't need permission, right? You matter just as you are, as a mom, right? If this is resonating with you, if you are a mom tired of explaining yourself, maybe you're tired of feeling dismissed and holding it all together by yourself, I want to personally invite you to the Rise Retreat. I'm so excited. We're having a retreat October 10th and 11th in Ellenton, Florida. I've got all the details for you below, but we're going to gather on Friday all day, Saturday from 9 to 1 for 2 days of learning, healing, and support alongside other moms who truly get it. So I just want to tell you what makes this year incredibly special for me is, for the first time, my daughter is going to be joining us. And after everything that we've been through, estrangement, my addiction, our pain, and God's healing hand, now she is going to join us for a session at the retreat where she's going to do a live Q&A with you, the moms. And she's going to be answering your questions and showing you firsthand that restoration is possible. So I'm super excited about that. So if you are interested in that, you can click the link below in the show notes or in the description. And just remember, early bird pricing is for the first 20 moms. So come join us, send us an email, sign up, whatever you have. If you have any questions, just email us. We'll be happy to answer those for you. Number 3 is be willing to hit pause when it gets ugly. If every conversation turns into this tug of war, you know what, my friend? It's okay to step back. It's actually healthy. And remember, you're not doing it out of spite, but you're doing it out of self-respect. You could even say, you know what, this isn't productive. Let's revisit this when we're both calm. If something's not productive, why continue to do it? So maybe you're even having to say, depending on what's being said to you, I'm not okay with being spoken to like that. So I'm going to end this conversation for now. Not forever, just for now. But then you have to follow through. You need to walk away. You need to hang up the phone. You need to postpone the visit. You need to do what you need to do. But that is not being difficult. It's being grounded in who you are. And you're showing them how to treat you by how you treat yourself. And lastly, number 4 is don't let their voice be louder than God's. Maybe they've said things that broke you to your core. Maybe they've labeled you, ignored you, blamed you, been super disrespectful. But their words don't get to define you because you are loved and you are seen and you are still worthy, even if they're not telling you so. Spend some time reconnecting with truth. Surround yourself with the voices that build you up, because we all know there's a lot of voices that we can listen to, right? They're not all good. They're not all positive. Be very, very discerning on what voices you are listening to. And just remember that their dismissal says more about their pain than your value. You are still here. You are still whole. And you get to choose how you take it from here. So I hope this helped. I will see you in the next episode. God bless.